I'm Tiffany. Welcome to Towering TBR. If you're new, I am chronically ill and disabled. I read a wide variety of books, and I play a TBR game every month to help me choose what I'm going to read. I have been playing my TBR game for over a year now, and if you'd like to check out my May TBR, go check that now because I'm going to spoil how my May went. Last month I drew B5, which was to read an urban fantasy. For this, I read Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. Check. I also drew I-16, which was to read a mostly black cover. For that, I read The Night Watch by Sarah Waters. Check. I also drew B10, which was to read a short story collection. For this, I read Friday Black by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah. Check. I drew I-30, reread a book you read over 10 years ago. For that, I reread The Blood of Flowers by Anita Amarizvani. Check. Excellent. So this was a very successful month. In June, I'm going to be participating in the Amazing Readathon, which is hosted by Brianna over at Four Paws in a Book. I will link her and her announcement video in case you'd like to get in on the fun. This is a readathon she started last year, and it was so much fun. It's loosely based off of the reality show The Amazing Race. And we basically get different prompts for different places that we're traveling to, and we compete on different teams. This year I am on Team Fantasy, and my team leaders are Kristin over at Kristin Craves Books and Cassidy over at Covers with Cassidy. I will link both of them as well. I initially thought I'd like to be on Team Sci-Fi because I read a lot more sci-fi than I do fantasy, but I have been reading so much sci-fi that I just felt like fantasy was a better fit this month. Because this is taking place in June, which is Pride Month, I'm going to be making choices to hopefully center books that are on or by queer people and queer experiences. We do get additional points if we read our team genre. For me, that would be fantasy. And we also get points if we read a queer author. So I'm going to try and stock my TBR as much as I can to fill those prompts. The two books that are going to be on my TBR regardless of what I roll, first is Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett. Yes, I always get those confused and swap around the two names. So I read The Tainted Cup by the same author. I will link that video. I absolutely loved it. Loved the magic system. I thought it was so inventive and cool. And unfortunately, it's the first in a trilogy, and the second book has not yet even been announced. So I decided to pick up his finished trilogy, Foundryside. I am going to be buddy reading this with Audrey over at Audrey Approved. And while he is not a queer author, there are queer characters. So I'm very much excited to add this to my TBR. It is also fantasy, if I didn't mention that. Another one I intend to reread is my favorite manga, which is My Brother's Husband by Gengoro Tagame. This is a contemporary, so I won't get genre bonus, but the author is gay and writes about gay characters. So I'm very excited to get this on my TBR. If it doesn't fit any of the prompts, I'm going to put it on there anyway because I really want to reread it. Okay, let's get to the rolls. Roll 1. I-20, start or continue a series. Well, that's kind of perfect because this is starting a new trilogy. So yeah, I'm going to pick Foundryside. Roll 2. I-23, a translated book. I'm going to go see what I have. Okay, I'm dumb. Yeah, Gengoro Tagame is a Japanese author, and yeah, these are translated. So I'm going to be putting My Brother's Husband, both Volume 1 and Volume 2, on my TBR. I didn't even have to think about that. That was nice. All right, roll 3. N41, a book with a subtitle. Back in a minute. Okay, so I've got two choices. So my first choice is The Deviant's War, The Homosexual versus the United States of America by Eric Cervini. This is a nonfiction about a man who sues because of discrimination for being gay. The other choice I have for nonfiction is Exile and Pride, Disability, Queerness, and Liberation by Eli Clare. I put in a request for an interlibrary loan because I'm very excited to read this book, and it has come in. So I think I'm going to choose that one. Nonfiction's not the best for a fast-paced readathon, but that one is only less than 200 pages, and I think it'll be really interesting. Roll 4. O62, a gifted book. All right, I'm gonna go look and see what I've got. Okay, I took so long my battery died, so sorry if the angle has changed. My first option is Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. I saw Becca over at Read Becca read like Sarah Gailey's entire backlist, and this is set at a magical school and there's some sort of mystery. It sounds really good and I'm excited to get to it. The other book is You Will Be Safe Here by Damian Barr. I'm pretty sure both of these authors are queer, but I will double check before I submit any points. So this is set in South Africa in the early 1900s and focuses on the war that they were in. I know very little about other countries' histories and it looks really interesting. So I kind of want to read both. This one is fantasy. I think I'm going to go ahead and choose Magic for Liars, and unless of course this fits a prompt really well, and then I might pick this one. So Magic for Liars is going on the TBR. Okay, well this was very successful. I have Pride in Exile by Eli Clare, which I'll pick up from the library very soon. Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. My Brother's Husband by Gengaro Tagame. And Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett. So I am really happy with this TBR. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a bit chaotic, this readathon, and it doesn't always lend itself to a well-structured TBR. So I will have to kind of roll with the punches and pick things that work. I'm very excited about joining in this readathon for the second year. If you're participating in the Amazing Readathon, leave a globe emoji down in the comments. I'm excited to see how many people are going to participate. Do you pick your TBRs based on mood or a structured list, or do it somehow a different way? I'm really curious how other people choose what they're going to read. Let's have a chat down in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me.